Church at the bar. You're about to enter.
Get down on your knees, cross your hands, close your eyes, ask God, help you understand.
I'm casting all my cares to you. Casting all my cares unto you, Lord.
You're about to enter.
Down on my knees,
Church at the bar.
cross my hands, close my eyes, ask God, help me understand what I'm going through. I'm just a man. It's a hard road, but it's all in God's plan.
You're about to enter Church at the bar, meeting people where they are.
Today's discussion is based on the scripture which tells us to submit to one another in the marital relationship, found in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, starting at verse 21.
Welcome to Church at the Bar, meeting people where they are. Today, I'm here with all of my good friends and family. So I'm here with my good friend, Tiffany, the songbird. Say hi, Tiffany.
Hi, everybody.
And then I'm here with my cousin, Crystal. And then we are back with the only man in the room today, James Mack. The Mack of God.
You gotta look at it with an attitude.
Yeah. The Mack of God. Come on, somebody. Oh, wait, we forgot to clap for Tiffany. Let's clap for Tiffany. So today, we're talking about relationships again. And you know, when we date, even though some people are out here, you know, dating for the fun that they can have, ultimately, we are dating with the hope that one day it'll turn into a marriage and, you know, we live happily ever after with the picket fence and all that. So, with that thought in mind, you know, us definitely in this room or any of us that are Christian, you know, we're trying even in dating to follow what the Bible says the guideline is for a relationship between a man and a woman. Okay? So, the Bible says, wives, submit to your husbands. That's a scripture that they talk about in church all the time. But it's 2022, and women got jobs, and we can buy our own stuff. And even when we can, our mama can, or somebody can. And so, why is it, if at all, difficult to submit in 2022? Tiffany, would you like to start us off? Why is it difficult to submit in 2022?
So the generations have changed completely. You now see the women chasing the man.
Right.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Right.
The men are not chasing women like they used to.
Right.
It's you may get some, and it's up to the woman to change the game. But we've changed it so much where the point is we give a man with what they want without them giving us anything.
Come on, somebody.
So back in the day, you know, your parents would tell you, you know, this is what you're supposed to do, this is how you're supposed to do it, he's supposed to do this. And now, he like, girl be like, I want a Louis Vuitton bag. So, you know what I mean? What, we want to have sex? Because that's what's happening.
Right.
Being honest.
It's like an
everybody
exchange.
want to be a Kardashian, or everybody want to be a Chloe or Beyonce. Nobody want to be the name that they was given.
Sure, facts.
So,
Facts.
you know, a relationship, a submission for me right now, I'm just going to enjoy life because I'm not sure if I'm going to find one out here yet.
You're not sure if you're going to find one out here that's worth submitting for?
If the game is going to continue to be this way, no. I'm just going to be honest.
Crystal! What you say? Why is it so difficult to submit in 2022?
I think that there's a lot of, right now, role reversal. You have to excuse my voice. I think a lot of the roles, the role of men, the roles of women have sort of reversed in a sense. What used to be is not anymore. Okay, all of the rules and regulations and the protocol and the man's job and the woman's job, everything has changed. And then also too, I think it's hard to submit. I think it also depends on what culture it is as well.
This is true.
I think it also depends on, like, I from what from my perspective, in the urban community, it is harder, I've seen that it's been harder for black women to submit to black men. Not saying that it's right, but I do see where the roles, it's just not what it used to be. Okay? A lot of these men I'm seeing, they're not being, I'm not gonna say what they weren't.
They're not
raised to
being
do.
men. They're not being
They're not
men in the
stepping
sense
up,
of what you feel like a man
and they're
should
not
be.
being men. Correct.
Right.
I don't think that they are giving something for women to even submit to. They're not leading
Come on.
Because you do have to have something to submit to.
So they're not leading at all by any means. And I'm not saying that's all of them, but it's more than it should be.
Right, because if you're not leading, how can someone follow?
How can someone follow you?
And they got the game changed. They think that submitting is just doing what they want you to do. That's not submitting.
Like a slave.
You know, oh, do what I say, or be on my side, or whatever I say, just don't say anything. That's not submitting.
If you don't do it, another woman will. You know, that kind of stuff. You know,
or you got too much mouth.
Right.
Wait a minute, I didn't know I had too much mouth. You want me to submit to you, but there is a right and there's a wrong.
Right.
So we have to get to a place where we say, okay, babe, I understand your feelings. Can you understand mine? So that we come together as one. That's when the submission comes in.
I want to park you at that point because you made the perfect point, and I was going to wait till later. But the scripture on submission, it actually starts. It says it right here. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. So that means the man is submitting to you and you're submitting to him. It's not as this idea that they give like the woman is like a servant or something. Like you're submitting to one another, so you're working together, coming together as one. I mean, and that only makes sense if you're coming together as one with somebody. You should both be submitting to each other.
But it also say the man should love his wife
as Christ loved the church. Preach it, pastor.
So that's what it says too, and I think you both, want to jump on to what Tiffany said and what you said. One thing is this, men, right? This identity, roles. Who raised that man?
Come on.
We have to get back to who the man is, who the woman is. How did God make us? Our purpose.
Right.
Right. Our purpose. It also talks about how the man is the headship.
Yes.
Right? Not only does it do that, it makes us go back into the word, right? He didn't create man to be alone.
No, he didn't.
Come on.
Right?
He said it was not good for man to be alone.
Thank you. The woman, the wife is supposed to be our helpmate. However, submission. Let's go back to what biblical submission is about, right? It's not just do or not. Let me correct myself. It's not about do what I tell you to do. It's actually support.
It's support.
Support.
It's support.
We are equal.
Yes.
Partnership. Okay?
Yeah.
So, the woman or wife has a role, the man has a role. We all have to play our part, but at the end of the day, it is a partnership. Right? There's no I in team.
There's no I in team.
So
me and James talk about this often, and my way of saying it always comes out harsh. But it is what it is. It's like, to me, it's like when we're in a relationship, we're equal in terms of what we deserve from God, the love that we both deserve. But make no mistake about it, I am a woman, I'm not your equal. You have your role and I have mine. I'm not your equal, because if the Bible is telling you to love your wife as Christ loved the church, well, Christ died on the cross for the church, knowing that most of them would not even love him the way they should. That's a hard job. We don't have that job biblically. That job is on you. That's a hard job. That requires sacrifice, even in the midst of when things ain't right. So that would make me very much not your equal. Equal in terms of the love I deserve. Equal in terms of the respect. But not equal in terms of the job, because it's laid out very clearly. Your job is a bigger one, really. So it really baffles me that in church we talking so much about wives submit, and what women are getting all this instruction on what we should do when we get married, and how we should cook, and how we should clean, and what perfume you should wear for them. But the men are getting no instruction, and really, you got the more difficult job.
But is that man submitting himself to God?
Right.
Is that man submitting himself to God? Does that man know God? Does he even have a personal relationship with God?
Hallelujah.
Is he helping to be an example for his wife to get closer to God? Are they praying together? Are they speaking and loving each other the way the Lord in the Bible tells us to love one another? Are they putting that into practice? Not just by lip service, but by their behaviors, how they care for each other. As a matter of fact, if you're a husband, are you really taking into consideration the needs of your wife? Her concerns. Is that wife also showing respect? And when I say respect, does that wife respect her husband?
Well, if you're loving your wife like Christ loved the church, it's not really hard to have respect for that.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it shouldn't be.
But I think at times some women may not know or wasn't taught.
That's a fact. And
or maybe not what they have seen growing up.
Right. And the ego gets involved.
The ego, yeah.
You really gotta, we have to learn how to press and release the ego or the pride that comes inside of all of us, because each woman and a man has it. We just don't know how to submit sometimes. We get in a way where this person is right, I'm right, you're wrong. But if we learn how to understand each other, see, submission comes when you're husband and wife. But people think that when you're boyfriend and girlfriend, you're supposed to be submission. Nah.
But let me ask a question.
Nah.
So,
you want me to play the role of a wife while I'm your girlfriend?
I know I read the Bible. You read the Bible, the Mack of God, the crystal. But when we talk about submission, just for the people that are listening and watching, throw out some words that when you think of what submission means in a relationship. Because even though as a boyfriend and girlfriend you're not submitting like a wife, you should be kind of submitting on training wheels if you're dating for the purpose of marriage. So maybe you're not submitting like a wife all the way, but you're submitting on training wheels because you're trying to see, you're trying to see if this is the person that God sent for you, right? So at least on a certain level, you're support. So support is a way of submission.
Yes, a part of it. And I won't take all the words, but also the man should be a leader.
Okay, so support.
I have to give you something to follow.
Okay, so support and leadership are parts of submission. Where are some other words that you guys think of when you think of submission?
Cover.
Okay, covering. That's a good one. Covering as in protection. Okay, that's a good one. What would you say, Crystal?
I think they pretty much covered it.
So covering, patience.
Yes.
Patience is
acceptance.
Right. Okay. Acceptance. Understanding. Compromise. Love. That's like the top one. I think that today we kind of got this world of
I think we missed one though. Respect.
Yeah.
Respect. That's the main thing, because the thing is this.
Both ways.
Yes.
Both ways.
If we don't respect, and the thing about it is caring. About that person's feeling, because when you talk to that person, you want to be able to talk to them with love, and you don't want to hurt them because you love them that much.
Love them.
So it's the understanding.
So then that would mean then that in today's terms, like you're in a relationship with someone and they bring up something in the relationship that to you is silly, it's stupid, you feel like, well, why would you even be concerned about that? But because of your care for them, you not only consider it, but you meet them where they are because you care about their feelings.
I call it season people,
right?
Because you got to look at the seasons you're in. Right. My thing is this: I may not be in that growth where I can understand you, and I want to. Some people may not understand it. I don't want to hear what you have to say. They're not in a season to listen. Sometimes a rebuttal does not need to happen. Sometimes silent, because if you just stay silent. Every time that there's a conversation or an argument, don't mean you have to rebuttal back.
You don't have to be responsive. You don't have to respond.
Yeah, but then people also have to understand too that every disagreement is not an argument.
Yes,
facts.
And I think that's a lot of that. And I think that comes into with communication and relationships, trying to work through some kinks and get better understanding. A lot of times, I think that people think that a disagreement is an argument, and it's not.
The case.
A disagreement is a way of understanding because you can agree to disagree. You know what I mean? Sure. And then to piggyback off of what Jamie said, as far as interests, because you love a person and you because you want to get to know a person and understand a person. There might be things and certain interests that they do have that you may not at first care to thought about, but you'll start researching and you'll take an interest in these things to understand them better and to support what they love and what they like. And I think that that also ties into and weaves into submission.
I want to ask James, since he's the only man here, the Mack of God. As a man, James, since we just talked about the submission being mutual and men submitting to women as well, since we never talk about this in church, I mean, honestly, in the 150,000 years I've been in church, I've never heard about
The what?
any 150,000 years. I've never heard any conversation about any of the ways men should be submitting. So in your mind, when you think of submission as a man in a relationship, what would that look like?
The way a man should submit to his wife.
Yes. Or a girlfriend if he's doing it on training wheels in order to get to the wife part.
Showing care. Showing care for what your wife or your significant other feels. Even if it goes against maybe what is very precious to you.
Right.
Having that listening ear. Empathetic ear for your wife. Giving interests, concerns, issues, needs.
Needs.
So addressing them to the best of your ability through prayer and by talking to God to help you to see things that maybe you don't see in the natural.
Right.
So being attuned.
Okay.
Are you following?
I'm following. So that's really, all of the things you said are like basically mirroring how Christ listens to us, right? And is supportive of us. And I mean, I'm sure that when Jesus is up there listening to our prayers, he's probably like, really, girl, again, come on. But he's still, he's still our constant friend. He still offers that good grace, that good mercy that we can rely on and depend on no matter what. He meets us where we are.
But I think also too, an important question is who is this man? So okay, even if it's a man on training wheels, I think an important thing to question is, does this man plan to make you his wife? And I think how he views who he's dating or who he's on training wheels with, I think that has a lot to do with what he is not, will not, what he's willing to do.
So how do we gauge if he's really willing to make his wife? That's a good question. And James, you're the only man here, so we want to hear from you. But how do we gauge this in relationships so that we can feel comfortable saying, okay, I'm going to submit on training wheels because I know where this is going? How should we be able to decipher, James? How should we be able to tell?
Okay, let me understand the question. How do we decipher if a man
is seriously, how can we take him seriously at saying or suggesting that he desires us as his wife? When can we take it seriously? What should we look for? I know what my thought is, but you're the man in the room. So we're gonna ask you. Well, Tony's here too, but Tony's behind the camera.
He's the man in the room. We can
Tony,
see.
if you want to say something too, you can.
Yeah, definitely, Tony.
Yes, Tony. You can say something too, Tony.
But I was definitely Tony. But I was going to say one thing is, does that man treat you with respect? I think Tiffany said it. I think, or someone here said respect. Does that man treat you with respect?
And that makes a lot of sense. However, I have seen, and I have been in situations where respect as far as how he speaks to you, the fact that he doesn't hit you or curse at you, or, he doesn't berate you or belittle you, but his actions, his nonverbal actions are disrespectful or demeaning or insulting. You know what I mean? So respect is such a broad term because A person can hold the door for you, pull your chair out for you, hey baby,
And still be
but
an
and
absolute
still-
creep.
and still
A
treat
disrespectful
you
creep,
disrespectfully.
Yeah.
He's just putting on, I call it this. They're just putting on masks. I've
I
always
agree.
said that.
So take off the mask.
But you don't know about the mask. Like I said, if I ever preach a sermon, I say that my sermon would be,
I'm ready for
do
your
you know
sermon.
have you discovered the mask?
Yes.
Are you laying next to the mask?
Yeah.
Because
I also want to say that men are pretty simple. I've seen a lot of relationships where the man doesn't even tell the woman, I want to make you my wife.
We thank you for listening to part 1 of our discussion. Tune in next week for part 2.